tradition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say is even harder to find.
Welcome to our
podcast. How long have we been doing this podcast for?
3 years.
Has it been?
Has it been 3 years?
I have a photo on my phone of one of the first.
And we still have the same 2 subscribers.
Yes, and people commenting. I have a photo on my phone though from one of the first podcasts, like the little, the pictures that Jacob makes. So me and Aaron, just no mustache, just a nice chin beard.
Little kids, man.
We were. Now look at us.
That's right.
You're 80 pounds lighter. I got a mustache.
Like in diapers.
Cheat.
Diapers, okay.
We're coming down. I know we're missing a couple team members today.
Thank God.
I haven't been on for a while. So great seeing you guys. I'm glad to be back. Thanks for holding down the fort and getting those subscribers up to at least 3. Good job. So listen, as we're approaching the end of the year, right? I mean, are you guys? Is our business slowing down, moving up? Where's the business at right now? Where's
I think Q4, especially for my buyers, have been fantastic. We've been getting pretty good deals out there.
Okay.
You know, sellers are looking to sell around
Motivated?
They're motivated because usually anyone that sells around this holiday period typically has to sell. But on the flip side, I just placed an offer today and they got 20 offers and it's looking like it's going to be the highest price sale in that pocket in Berryessa.
That is incredible to still see. That's in Berryessa.
In Berryessa.
With your
How's the house though?
It's dialed.
Anything dialed right now is moving.
Well, I think it always goes back to the same thing, right? It's like if you have a wow factor, you need to have a wow factor or a great value. Anywhere in between, you're going to be struggling.
Yeah, because I have the McEwen over there on 3rd Street in Campbell. I dropped it 100,000. We had a bunch of showings, and I was able to generate a couple offers out of it. But I think a year ago, it's going at 700.
Well, I think to everybody's point here, I mean, it's really interesting where we're seeing this true dichotomy of, you know, we're in Jeet's situation and the one that we have over in Las Gadas, Montessorino, where you're getting 20 plus offers on it.
Exactly.
That's going to give you a different impression where the market's at compared to your situation where you're absolutely right. Those McEwens, especially downtown Campbell, would be 685 to 725.
Subjective value, though.
Yeah, subjective value. And
what do you mean by subjective value?
His value on it. Like, he could love downtown Campbell.
Right.
I could not care about going to downtown.
And I could also not like the fact that there's not a bathroom on the bottom floor. I mean, there's a lot of things, especially with HOA litigations right now, that are kind of holding condos off from.
I think you just hit on it. I think that's the issue with that property.
Well, it's everything. Like, especially, but I'm just saying, like, you get those McEwens, and you look at a family who has a young kid. They don't necessarily want the one with stairs. They want the one that's on flower. But that's a subjective value. They are a buyer for that property. It's just subjected to whether or not they think it's worth that $700,000.
Every property is subjective, right? It's just a matter of, do you have more buyers than just the subjective buyer? I mean,
as opposed to a house in Berryessa, that attracts everybody.
Correct.
That's true. I mean, it has it has good schools.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they listed it for 1.5, and the agent tells me they have 20 offers. Highest is close to 1.95, which is like.
I just went against Mountain View, sold for 900,000 over.
Wow. I mean, yeah, the Mountain View Cupertino market, they
900,000.
But where are they priced it at?
3.5.
What's it worth?
Apparently 4.4. Subjective value.
Exactly.
To me.
Why I love having this conversation is because if people start reading the headlines, right, where 3 months ago we're freaking out because of the NAR settlement, we're freaking out because interest rates are going up and stuff. But the reality of it is, in Silicon Valley, well, I say across the nation, people still need roofs over their heads, right? And if they have a life event, they have some reason why they're buying or selling, they're going to still buy or sell. Yeah, there might be, you might cut out a certain amount of those buyers who are kind of looky-loos. Well, if we get the right deal, or first-time home buyers that have that affordability index issue, right? They might filter away. But you know, how many homes do we have on the market right now total? About 1,400.
So we have about 1,100 homes on the market currently, 1,400 with off markets. So
and that's including condos and townhomes.
Yeah.
Or condos, townhomes, and single family, right?
A mistake that I heard people making on your Friday mastermind call is that people are hedging for rates to go down next year, so they're waiting to put their property on the market. But we already said that before, and then rates went up. So I think it's a really big mistake if you're trying to time the market.
Well, that's just it. I mean, to our point that we always say, the crystal ball is broken many, many years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're thinking about selling, now's the only time where you know the market's at. I've seen so many people, you know, they're going to want to wait, to your point, right? They're going to wait to interest rates go down or up. And yet we've had clients I can remember way back when in the .com days, and this doesn't change. I know all of you guys have them. I know, Ben, you've got one in particular where they start looking. I can remember .com days. We were in Birdland, and we were looking for, nice house. Actually, it was on Inverness. It's amazing I can remember some of my first sales, but I can't remember the ones in the last year or so.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was on Inverness Drive. And when we first started looking at this house, they were selling for around $250 to $350. Right. Well, okay. The client continues to waiting for the market, the interest rates to go down, market to change everything. Next thing you know, 3 years later, because they weren't willing to pull the trigger, they kept saying that to themselves. They wound up paying $475,000, twice the amount of money for that property.
What we always tell buyers, and I know like me and Jeep preach this stuff, especially because we're.
And let me go back to that though, because even though he was so worried that he wasn't getting a good deal at that time. Look at what I just said, or hear what I just said. He paid $475,000. He paid twice as much. What's that house today on Inverness and Birdland? $2.5 million, $3 million.
Yeah,
and that's what we always say with buyers. I think if you have a secure job that's keeping you afloat, that you know is going to keep you afloat, there is no wrong time to get in. Because even if that property does end up dropping, let's say for a year, 2 years, you have the funds in your job to keep you stable and keep you going. You write it out, and it goes right back up.
Exactly.
But again, it's a long-term game. We've always said if you're looking for, again, over the last few years, you could have done this, but take what I'm saying for a grain of salt. If you're in this industry to buy a home and sell it in 2 years, it's probably not it. You want to hold it 3, 5, at least 5. I mean, it's so hard to say because, again, you bought a home in 2022, you can sell it right now. It's very hard to say that. But I mean, overall,
well, you're not going to speculate in this market, right? I mean, if you're going to speculate, it better be 3 to 6 months, right?
But I think being a buyer right now is probably the smartest thing you can do, especially if you're planning to buy in the next 6 months. Because if you buy now, you're going to beat the competition that'll start probably.
Are you a buyer right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
I would buy probably a investment property or flip or something like that.
Well, and you have to know any seller who's listing right now is a motivated seller. They're not going to mess around with putting their home on the market during the holidays.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I feel like we have a lot of sellers who are concerned about, we need to wait till after the holidays to put the home on the market. I don't know, January is a good month. At the same time, there's not enough inventory here for us to actually say that. Again, you look at, let's say, Montsereno. Property got accepted $1 million over asking. For some people to get into the city of Montsereno is a dream. They will do what it takes to get in there. There are places like Cupertino where, let's say, a family has 3 other friends. Santa Clara is a big area. You have a couple friends around the neighborhood. They'll pay what it takes to get into that neighborhood to stay close to
our market is still a very desirable market. It's very active. There's more buyers than we have product out there. Mm-hmm. There was a time where I still hesitate sometimes, and I got to say it's a little selfish sometimes when it comes around the holidays. I don't want to list a house after, say, December 1st. Because I'd like to focus on the holidays myself as well. And I don't have a problem waiting until after January. But I got to tell you, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, had a client life event where they had to sell. I listed a house in Los Gatos. It was literally, I think, Christmas Eve. We listed this house, or like the day before that. And during the Christmas holiday, between Christmas and New Year's, we had like 14 offers on it, right? I mean, buyers are still looking out there. Now, you might have a certain amount of them that are on vacation.
We're in a cultural melting pot of the entire world, right? Like 100%. A lot of people don't even celebrate Christmas. Yeah. They don't care.
Yeah, right. Very true.
Right? So you have to look at it through the lens of the life events. Happens.
And we don't have any major seasonal issues. We're talking about the weather and stuff. I mean, you go back east where there's just snow. You can't. I mean, you're shut down for those. I mean, we're, looking
and a lot of these times, I mean, it's interesting they say that you listed it on Christmas. It went off and went crazy. I mean, a lot of people are getting their bonuses in the beginning of December, middle of December. So the time it comes to New Year's, these people know how much they're making, they know what their raises are, and they know what they're walking into in the next year. So it's moving.
Not only this time of year are the sellers motivated, the buyers motivated too.
Yeah, I had a couple Apple employees tell me that in November they have, even Amazon, they have a lot of vesting schedules, so they get access to a lot of their capital around this time of the year, which is why we see a pretty massive.
If the house is the right fit, just jump.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to that whole thing of how lucky we are. Both buyers, sell. Everybody who's in the real estate game, and just to be in Silicon Valley. I mean, there's a lot of areas across the nation right now that don't have incredible stories. I mean, we've got foreclosures on the rise nationwide. We've got homes sitting on the market. We got reduction. I mean, if you look at Texas, my wonderful favorite place in Texas, Austin, it's still down 20-30% from just 2 years ago. I don't know any place San Francisco's had an issue with their condos, but even the condo market in San Francisco is coming back, right? So, I mean, we're very fortunate.
Why is Texas down?
Overbuild. I mean, it's supply and demand.
It's like what happened in
supply
Florida.
and demand. It's what happened, Southern California. It's so, when I first got into really residential or just real estate investing, forget about residential, there were certain cities or states I would not buy in. Then we want to guess the three cities that
You would
three
not buy
states
in?
that I would never recommend buying in.
Florida.
New York.
That's one. No.
I would say, I'm going to say Texas.
Texas
I was going to
is
say
two.
because of the weather, hurricanes, tornadoes.
And Nevada. Those three. Because generally speaking, anytime the market shifted into like a foreclosure market, those states have the highest amount of foreclosures going on because they have land and they're constantly overbuilding like crazy, right? And it just creates too much supply for the demand. And let's face it, I mean, at certain times of year, all of those states have some pretty cool things to, the weather and everything's okay. But there's also certain times of the year that, you got hurricanes. Tampa just got hit with 2 worst hurricanes ever. Texas, you're sitting there at 120 degrees, and Nevada's Nevada, which I love, by the way. So don't.
But
take
would
it
you
wrong
would
there.
you be a buyer now in Austin, Texas? And
Well, I will, because there's opportunity, right? One of the things I've learned is
Buy
when that
the
market
dip.
goes down, 100%. That's when you're a buyer.
By the way, Bitcoin
Jeez,
over
wait a-
90,000.
94,000
crazy.
today.
94. Last time we made this,
94.
it was 85.
Sucks that you sold it like 1,000 shares at $10,000, huh?
Yeah, that is crazy.
right, Aaron, you shouldn't have bought that pizza for 60 Bitcoin.
Oh my God, the $900 million pizza.
Oh, that
Yeah,
is
about that,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, that's wild.
You want to expand upon that?
Someone bought a pizza in 2010 or 11, and they offered
60 Bitcoins for a pizza.
way more than
Way
60.
more than 60.
It
I
was
think
like 60,000 or something.
It-
Whatever equates to
Oh.
900 million today.
Well, what
Well,
about
that's
that?
very
home-
reaching.
what about
And it
that
was
home-
2 pizzas.
What about that home on it's like
yeah,
Selling
right
New
in
York
Sirhan,
or
yeah.
something? It was. They went in. I'll give you the $1 million or whatever in Bitcoin. Like, no, it's gonna be worthless. I don't want that.
Yeah, right. I was reading an article where there were several professional athletes that took their salaries.
Odell
in
Beckham was
Bitcoin.
the last one.
Yeah, right. And you're looking at me, oh, you're crazy. And
Yeah.
look at it now.
Yeah.
But it's very volatile. We know that. I mean, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's gone up 23,000 in just the last month and a half.
Would you sell?
Would I sell? No, I think it's become like digital gold. So because
Really?
there's very finite amount,
Yeah.
and very the amount that's minted over the next few years will just keep declining.
Yeah.
So it'll become like a rarer commodity.
And you've got an administration, not to be political at all, that has nothing to do with it, but we have an administration who is favorable of that.
Exactly.
Cryptocurrency.
And out of 21 million Bitcoins that exist, 3 million are lost in thin air because people have forgotten
Passwords
their
and stuff.
passwords.
That's scary
Their
crap,
cold
yeah.
wallets have just gone lost. And
So whatever happens to that never goes back into circulation, does it?
Yeah,
It just limits it makes it more rare.
Yeah, it
Much
makes
more
it 3 million Bitcoins lesser.
Wow.
So what about as we, transfer into a new president, things like self-driving cars, right? Like we're seeing the Elon Musk and Trump are going everywhere together.
Right.
Tesla stock is going crazy. Are we going to see, what we saw in 2019 with Tesla or this past year with Nvidia happen again?
Well, there's no doubt with any administration, regardless what side of the fence you're on, there are certain economic sectors that will benefit for wherever the focus is for that administration, right? But I think some things are kind of, like if you look at AI, it doesn't matter who the administration is. AI is kind of like cryptocurrency, right? It's going to go take off on its own, right? I
It's
don't-
also our biggest export
is it? I didn't know that.
technology.
Technology, there you go, especially out of Silicon Valley, right? Cool. I don't know. It's interesting when we look at like EVs, right, electric vehicles and stuff. I don't know how sustainable that is. I mean, I read an article with Lucid where they're losing $440,000 per car.
Dude, that company,
$440,000 per car.
They're-
that company was a bust, bro.
How is that
invested in
sustainable?
that.
No, but their stock went up. Their stock actually went up.
But same with Rivian, they're losing money. The only one that hasn't figured out is Tesla.
Yeah, it's because they're way ahead of the game, right?
Yeah.
Their biggest issue was mass production, which Lucid, Rivian, everyone's facing now, which
Right.
Tesla faced back in 2016.
Yeah.
Especially with the new Model 3 release and everything,
Yeah.
they were on the verge of bankruptcy.
Musk
and
saved
then,
it, right?
And then they turned it around. So that was like the biggest challenge, which
Yeah.
is why Tesla is not scared of competition.
Well, but
They also opened up charging stations to other EVs. So now you can, if you have a Lucid or Rivian or something, you can go and charge at another.
it'll be a really interesting, again, not to be political about anything, but it'll be a really interesting
Just
kind of
be political.
marriage that you'll see between Musk and the administration, right? Because apparently he's going to be somewhat part of the administration.
No. Off government, they said. Off government.
Okay. But the administration is very highly, diesel, fuel, gas, oil, fossil fuel reliant, right? And they're pushing that, right? Where now you have Elon Musk, Tesla is all about electric. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of unfolds.
The department that Elon is a part of is called
Efficiency?
Department of Government Efficiency, which
Dodge or something.
which equates Dodge, and now because of that, Dogecoin is up significantly.
Yeah, that's crazy. So with being efficient, I had a question get asked to me, and I was curious if you, either of the three of you were doing it. What is the best solar panel company, maybe, or solar to put on your roof right now for the best efficiency? I had a client do the solar roof for Tesla, and they said that it looks cool, but it's not as efficient as some of the other ones. And I know you're doing a big remodel. You've been into solar. You recently bought a house. Like, where are you guys at with that?
So we are not going Tesla, and we are going with the manufacturer is called, I believe it's called Franklin. And several things here. So even the batteries will be Franklin in addition to the panels. I believe that Tesla has a 10-year warranty. Franklin has a 15-year warranty.
Can you buy out Franklin the whole?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's some like Sunrun and stuff where you purchase your power through companies.
Well, I think Tesla does that too, right?
Where if you put the roof on, because you have the Tesla generators.
Well, and then the key that I wasn't aware of, I wasn't aware.
Cheat.
It's gotten you sick.
Blue.
That's what I said.
I gotta go steam it out.
What I wasn't aware and educated about the whole thing with the batteries, right? A solar roof, because I had solar on my house before, not a solar roof, but a solar on my house, and I kept questioning, why am I not in a net zero type situation? You got to have the batteries that collect the power that then feed it back to the system, right? So we are doing that now, but we're going with this company called Franklin. It was a little bit less than, I would say. We have a 6,000 square foot house, and I was surprised at the cost.
The most relatable thing.
I'm just trying to give you an idea on price points here, and I'm proud of that. I busted my to get that 6,000 square foot house. Damn it!
Just an average home.
Yeah, but
What does your
what I'm
fire
saying
insurance
is,
cost on a home like that?
you really want to know? Well, let me tell you what the solar is. The solar, after all the rebates and everything, is around $45,000.
That's pretty
Which
good.
is very reasonable. I mean,
That's for the
great.
roof and the generator.
the whole thing. It's about $46,000 after all the rebates and everything. But that's with it turns out to it's about 2.5 to 3 years return on it.
And that's the panels on top of a roof.
Correct, a metal seamed roof.
That's actually a great price. So for my house, which is 2,700 square feet, we got, I believe, 16 or 18 panels, and I have about a 7 kilowatt system, and that cost me $22,000.
Okay.
But it charges my car fully.
It's net zero, right? I mean,
it's almost net zero. I got like $1,000 true-up bill, which is like
less than $100 a month.
Yeah, less than $100
Yeah.
a month. So I mean, just for gas, I was paying $400 a month.
I was shocked to find out, because when they first came out, it was like usually a 10 to a 14-year ROI on it. And I was like, well, who the hell's going to do it? Buyers were the ones that really benefited from it, right? It was like the seller's paying for it. They're going to sell it within 7 years. The buyers benefit from it. Now, when you look at 2 to 3 year, 4 year return, whatever it is, why would you not do it?
Absolutely.
Right? Get
Especially
yourself
if you have a
away
pool.
from.
And
and we also put a generator in too. So we have.
My interest
down.
rate on that solar was 1.99%. So it was actually bringing my PG&E bill down to half.
So let me ask you this. How much do you believe that having that type of a solar system impacts the value of property?
A solar system that's paid off, are you asking?
Well, talk about them both, right? Because some of them you don't pay off, right? Some of them you still lease it and you just get a reduced PG&E bill. But let me ask you this. Let's take a net zero system that's paid off.
Massive.
Is it?
Massive.
I would say paid off, you can add at least $20,000 to $25,000 worth of value
Value to
on
it.
an average $2 million.
Like if you got two houses side by side, one has it, one doesn't. The solar one's going to get you a premium on it.
Approximately
They both
20
look
to
the exact
30,000.
same. Yeah.
But here's what I advise my clients. I don't like homes with solar on it because typically it's not paid off. It's a lease that you're going to be taking
Right.
over for a probably less efficient solar system, right?
Okay.
Like because they've probably
So
installed
that's older or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's older.
Okay.
But now if you go for a new one, you get to take advantage of the rebates.
Sure.
And then you get to
Well, that's a great point because the original owner is the one who took those rebates.
Exactly.
You're just
so you don't get
yeah.
the rebates. The,
Right.
the
Yeah, of
owner's
course.
already got the rebates, and now you're paying a premium for solar.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
I think
And it's an antiquated system.
Another thing that we tell our buyers too, or I tell my buyers at least, is if you're going to put solar on the roof, make sure you understand what shape roof your roof is in, because a lot of the times you stick the solar on the roof, tile chips or something underneath, it causes a massive issue of having to retake the solar off, redo the roof, and it's a domino effect. Everything is a domino effect.
Yeah.
But
when I was shopping for solar, Tesla was almost half the price. So by far, Tesla has it figured out in terms of costs, but their process, I think, is very hands-on.
Yeah, well, their customer service kind of sucks. All right, with that, we'll talk to you later. Bye.